had moved back from that building before, what you're about to see again here on videotape, knowing that fire could not be fought because of the instability of the structure, because of the fire that had burned since shortly after 9 o'clock this morning.
New York City, 2001. No tall building had ever collapsed primarily due to fire. But that's exactly what investigators believe happened to the 47-story World Trade Center Building 7 on September 11th. According to a 3-year comprehensive building and fire safety investigation just completed by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST.
World Trade Center 7 collapsed because of fires. We really have a new kind of progressive collapse that we have discovered here, which is a fire-induced progressive collapse. And in fact, we have shown for the first time that fire can induce a progressive collapse.
NIST used detailed data describing the building and its contents to create the most complex computer simulation of a structure collapse ever made. Falling debris from Tower 1 started fires on 10 floors in Building 7. A break in the city water main from the collapse of the towers disabled sprinklers in the lower half of WTC 7, allowing fires on those floors to burn for 7 hours. The NIST computer model was validated with evidence from videos, photos, witness accounts, and other data. It shows that heat from fires expanded long support beams, causing connections and floors to fail.
So you look at the floors failing here, and eventually this column 79 is going to buckle, it fails, and then the entire vertical progression takes place.
The buckled column caused additional collapsed floors and falling debris that removed support from adjacent interior columns. A chain reaction then caused other interior columns to fail in quick succession. The outside shell of the building fell. The NIST team found no evidence that explosives were involved in the collapse.
And our analysis showed that even the smallest explosive charge that was capable of bringing down the critical column in the building, had it occurred, we would have seen sound levels of 120 to 130 decibels about a half a mile away. That would have been an incredibly loud sound, and that sound was not picked up by any of the videos or witnesses that we have talked to.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. And I said, you know, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it, just pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse. They made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse. They made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
Rob Morrison was downtown, Lower Manhattan, when World Trade Center Tower 7 went down. Rob?
Okay, Jim, you were asking for that tape. We have it in our truck, so we're going to do what's called a hot roll here. There might be a glitch or two on the air, but we're going to roll that tape for you. This is World Trade number 7 collapsing just about 15, 20 minutes ago. What happened with World Trade Center number 7 was that it was compromised earlier in the day. When the first tower went down, that was the second collapse, which is to say tower number 1. When that went down, it toppled into number 7. A fire started burning at that point, and it burned for a good portion of the day. That was the thick smoke that you saw coming out of that building most of the day. The structure was so compromised, firefighters and other rescue personnel were unable to get near that building.
They made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
The structure was so compromised, firefighters and other rescue personnel were unable to get near that building. The structure was so compromised, firefighters and other rescue personnel were unable to get near that building.
Just your back.
Please don't.
Just your side. That's all I
Please
need.
don't.
Fucking nuts for going in there, bro. Get out!
Mike, pick it up, Mike.
Say all that on the last one.
There's nobody up on 23?
No, they evacuated everybody down.
All right, they're probably going to the bus. Thanks.
Yeah.
What happened?
Did the side of the building come down?
I don't know. Something fell. What'd you see?
It was pretty clear at one point, and then there's a whole bunch of smoke and glass. And I think we're just about the last ones in this building right now. I think you should leave. Everybody else is gone.
Okay.
I'll just make sure that there's nobody else coming
What do you
downstairs.
think happened?
I hear the top of the building fell down. Fell over on us. I don't know. I haven't even seen outside yet.
Have you, when were you here?
Pardon me?
Here after the planes landed?
As a matter of fact, we're standing right underneath 6 World Trade when the building actually, the plane hit it the first time.
Describe it.
Yeah, a plane, the engine screaming, and then just an explosion. glass, then everybody was running around trying to get away.
Tell me your name and spell it.
Bennett, B-E-N-N-E-T-T-E.
Sergeant.
No, Secret Service.
Secret Service? How do you want your title?
OST.
OST, thank you.
All right.
The dust is starting to settle. Just tell them to go slow.
I'm going to work right now on an appointment, and I'll be right back.
All right, you going to stay with him? You going to stay with him? Work with him. Stay with me. Okay, I'll double back.
What are you guys doing now?
We had a report of a fireman trapped over here on the northwest corner. So I'm going to make sure that we got people over there to help dig him out.
Thank you.
Sure, no problem. Don't want to trip over me. Okay, I'm looking for the northwest tower. There's a bridge. Is that be over here or over here? It's over this way. All right, head over there. All right.
The structure was so compromised, firefighters and other rescue personnel were unable to get near that building.
Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing. And indeed it has. Apparently that's only a few hundred yards away from where the World Trade Center towers were. And it seems that this was not a result of a new attack. It was because the building had been weakened during this morning's attacks. We'll probably find out more now about that from our correspondent, Jane Stanley. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy. There's almost a sense downtown in New York behind me, down by the World Trade Centers, of just an area completely closed off as the rescue workers try to do their job. But this isn't the first building that has suffered as a result. We know that part of the Marriott Hotel next to the World Trade Center also collapsed as a result of this huge amount of falling debris from 110 floors of the two twin towers of the World Trade Center. As you can see behind me, the Trade Center appears to be still burning. We see these huge clouds of smoke and ash, and we know that behind that there's an empty piece of what was a very familiar New York skyline, a symbol of the financial prosperity of this city, but completely disappeared now, and New York is still unable to take on board what has happened to them today.
Presumably there were very few people in the Salomon building when it collapsed. I mean, there were, I suppose, fears of possible further collapses around the area.
That's what you would hope, because this whole downtown area behind me has been completely sealed off and evacuated, apart from the emergency workers. That was done by the mayor, Rudy Giuliani, much earlier today because of, course, the dreadful collapse of the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. But New York, very much a city still in chaos. The phones are not